All right, good morning. I am recording. Hopefully you can see the email that I sent out this morning. And my hope is that we won't meet for much more than an hour or so this morning. And why? Because the rest of the period is designed to be a lab. Fridays will generally be lab periods. All right. Also, because a couple people had still gotten a hold of me and told me that they were having some problems with certain things. All right. So I want to make sure I sent this out. I don't know if I remember if I sent it yesterday or not, but what you have to do to make sure that your GitHub is going to work, your Git and GitHub, is you should open up a Git bash window and first type in this command. Don't actually put in the YOURNAME. Put in your actual name right there and hit enter. When you get done with that, if your prompt comes back, just the $ or whatever your prompt is, it worked. Then you put in this one. And again, you will add in your like mine would be JP Scott at you, for example. You only have to do that once, and that should establish the line of communication between Git and GitHub. The other things that I put in here, we're going to run over them again today. All right, because what I'm going to do today is, again, we're going to go over first the chapter 1 test. And to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is, I believe, could be wrong here, but I believe it's out on, let's see, in my downloads. There's where I've got everything. That is not it. There it is. Thought that I had unzipped it, but I'll extract it right now. That's fine. So this is the same thing that all of you have got. All right. And what I want to show, and I wish I'd done this earlier, because of course it's going to take a minute or two, but this is the way that I would recommend that you go in and you create and answer questions, answer whatever, and save it on the system. Now, this, like I said, this is the way I'm going to do it. Are there other ways of doing it? Of course there are. All right. But I know that when I went through last semester with the new students, that some of them had problems saving different things and or getting it to go up to GitHub. So I'm going to go through the whole process with you today as soon as this finishes up. So we're going to go over the chapter 1 test, the chapter 1 written test. After we get done with that, the homework in the labs, there was none for chapter 1. There was none for chapter 2, but since I said that I would go through one of them with you, there is one for chapter 3. So if you either are watching here live or if you watch this on tape and you follow the instructions, what you will be responsible for, you know, so if you code along with me, etc., you will have to do the written test yourselves for chapter 2 and the written test for chapter 3. All right. Now, all that homework is due next Sunday, which is, I believe, the 22nd. So what that means is on the morning of the 23rd, all right, I will go over and give the answers to the chapter 2 and the chapter 3 written test. Since I'm going to be doing that, if you don't have the stuff turned in by then, you get a 0. And I'm not trying to be unfair. All right. I just don't know any other way to do it. All right. Plus, just so you know, anytime that I give out answers, like we're doing today, and like I'll do then on the 23rd, etc., I've got to do a little bit more work, and I have to take those videos and make them private. All right. And then just send out things to each of you. So what I'm going to ask then is that if you were able to open the video, that you let me know. Now, the reason that I'm doing it that way is because The next time this class is taught, the same book will probably be used and possibly the same exercises. So I don't want to put that out there in a public YouTube or, basically a public YouTube video where anybody could take a look at them. I just don't want to do that. Hopefully that made at least a little bit of sense. It says here this is going to take 2 more minutes. So again, what we're going to do, I'll just show it right here, is we're going to go over the chapter 1. Now, I didn't notice this previously. It's on me. I had the older edition of the book. It's really not going to matter. I looked at the 4th edition and the 5th edition, and will there be some differences? Yes. All right. I don't want to take the time and edition written tests and then go back and, it's just too big of a pain. All right. Now, if there's questions that are asked on this test, and when you do your written tests, okay, there's definitely supposed to be a right answer for each question. But what I do when I'm grading them is I look at every answer that's on there. And what I mean is, it's possible that you could put an answer down that doesn't agree with the answer key, but you still get it right. All right. Because sometimes I think that more than one of these answers could actually be used. All right. So let's see if that finished up. Almost. It says it's got less than a minute. All right. So, all right, that's done. So let me open this up now. There it is. Geez, did I not open the right one again? Good golly. I'll tell you what, we'll get this done. Just give me a second here. That's it right there. Okay. I'm going to download it, so I'm sure I'm working with the right one. There it is. Okay. So do I have this unzipped? No, I do not. Fantastic. Let's put it on the desktop so I do have it. We can use this from now on. And sorry, it's going to take a second again. Hopefully it'll go a little faster than it did last time. But while we're waiting, let's take a look at what's on that test. All right. I've already got it up here. So hopefully at least what you found are the answers that are in here. The questions that are in here were all answered between the lecture, and if you had to, you might have had to go on in and read the book. Now, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so I'm just going to give you the answers for these. All right. So number 1, and again, I'll move this over in just a second, but number 1, and this is how I do it. You can do it any way you want. But number 1, a web browser, it's really D. It's a program that runs on the client computer. So I would highlight it like this and then maybe make it red. Now you are delineating to me what the right answer is. That's probably the easiest way to do it. All right. Double check and see if this is finished. All right. So I'm opening it up. This is the actual one. So this would be the same one that you'd have. So again, I said number one would be D. A web browser is a program that runs on the client computer. All right. Number two, the internet consists, B, of many wide area networks, also known as WANs, that are connected to local area networks. All right. Now, again, some of these answers are very close to one another, so I'll take a look at what people did when I grade these. Number three, an HTTP or hypertext transfer protocol response is sent from, and that is from the web server to the client. The request goes from the client to the server. So C that they have there, that would have been the request, but the actual response goes from the server to the client. So number one was D, number two was B, number three was D. All right. Number four, excuse me. When a browser makes a request for a static web page, the web server A returns the HTML for the page and the browser renders it. That's actually what's happening here. Number five, when a browser makes a request for a dynamic web page, then B, an application server processes the request and returns the HTML to the web server. All right. Number six, when a client requests a dynamic web page, the HTML is generated by, kind of goes up with the one on the previous question, and that would be B, an application server. So number four is A, number five is B, and number six is B. All right, going on. Number seven, Google publishes a web browser named, well, it's Chrome. It's actually Chrome is also known as Google Chrome. Number eight, when you include JavaScript in a web application, the code is run by, the answer is A, the JavaScript engine of the web browser. That may not make a boatload of sense right now. It will more so when we get into the JavaScript part of the class. Number nine, HTML is used to define A, the structure and contents of the web page. The other answers in there, the formatting and the layout, no, that's basically most of that at least is done through the CSS. All right. So number seven was C, number eight was A, number nine was A. Number 10, CSS is used to C, format the elements of a web page. Number 11, to format a web page you use, well, it was kind of just asked, and they do a lot of that in this book here. There are going to be times if you can't figure out a question, you might want to look at the earlier questions. Number 12, to deploy a website, you use, one way you can do that is to use FTP. All right, so number 10 was C, number 11 was B, number 12 was C. Number 13, when you deploy a website, you upload its folders and files from C, your computer or network, to a web server on the internet. Number 14, which of the following is not part of an HTML? Answer is C, node. So 13 and 14 are both C. Number 15, to load a web page into a web browser, you can A, type the URL of the web page into the browser's address bar. Number 16, to load a web page from an intranet into your web browser, you can use the open or open file command in the file menu. Now, we didn't talk about this in class, all right? And usually, normally with like an intranet, that's basically, quite often at least, it's an in-house type of internet. So for instance, if I worked for, I don't know, Menards could easily have an intranet where they were able to talk between everybody who works at Menards regardless of location. You'll also hear the term extranet. And typically with an extranet, it would be, for example, if using Menards, if Menards sells wood, let's say, or other things, let's just assume for a second that they were to sell stuff to Walmart. That could be an extranet type of connection. All right. Okay, number 17. If you right click on a web page and select view source or view page source, the answer is A. The HTML for the page will be displayed. So number 15 was A, number 16 was B, and number 17 was A. All right. Number 18, which of the following is not a guideline for usability? And it is actually C. Make the pages attractive and appealing. You want to do that, of course, okay, but you don't have to. One thing I didn't do yesterday when we were going through the simple website that we created, and we'll go and add to that one possibly later, we didn't put a logo on there. But typically, regardless of what page you're on a website, the logo will typically be up in the upper left-hand corner. If you click on the logo, it should bring you back to the home page. All right, that's just a standard thing that most people do. Number 19, which of the following is not a guideline for user accessibility? Is not. All right. Let's see, provide text that is easy to read. Now, again, this is user accessibility. All right, yeah, you want to make it easy to read. Yeah, it's actually this one. Now, you do want to make sure that it runs in all browsers, but that technically has nothing to do with accessibility. All right. Number 20, because all browsers do not adhere to the latest HTML and CSS standards, a web developer needs to be concerned with, the answer is B, cross-browser compatibility. You want to make sure that your website, once you create it, looks good, runs correctly, looks correct, etc., regardless of whether you're using Chrome, or you're using Edge, or you're using Firefox, or Safari, or Opera, or something else. So number 18 was C, number 19 was D, number 20 was B. And the last couple, number 21, because applications like Google and Bing rank pages of a website, a web developer needs to be concerned with, that is SEO, or search engine optimization. And again, with search engine optimization, what you're trying to do as a website developer is you're trying to make sure that in the pecking order of things, so if somebody goes out to Google or Bing or whatever, Yahoo, but typically it's Google, I think we all know that. All right, so if somebody goes out and Googles something, all right, that your website is going to be at the top or near the top, or at least as near to the top as possible. So 21 was A, and the last one, 22, because 60% of all internet access is being done using mobile devices. All right, a web developer needs to be concerned with, and this is, again, we're going to in chapters 7 through 10, and that is RWD, or responsive web design. Now, for the you people watching this live, does anyone need any of these repeated?
I'm good.
Okay, then I'm going to save this and I'm going to go on. Now I've got all this stuff. Don't, that's the old one. So I've got all of this stuff in here. So when we finish up, I'll show you how I would push that all out to the system. So the next thing to do, and it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter which one of these we go over first, but I'm going to go and I'm going to grab labs. Okay, and that's the shape up. So we'll look at the shape up first. Again, it doesn't matter if we do the shape up first, then the Halloween, or vice versa. I don't want to sit and read to you. This is a case study, and we will be building upon this case study with every chapter that we go through in here. So in other words, right now, we're going to make changes for chapter 3. Then when we get to the next chapter, we can use that same file, basically that same thing, and make additional changes for chapter 4. And that's pretty much what they're saying in here. Okay, but like I said, I don't feel like reading to you. So it says here in this exercise, you'll code the HTML for the home page. When you're through, it should look like this. All right. So we're literally going to start, I think, with almost a brand new, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We're going to bring it up in a second, but I think that we're going to start with almost a brand new, spanking new web page. Our specifications, there's several of them. So first, let's do this. And again, this is the way I would recommend doing it. You've got this here, okay? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a new folder inside of this right here. And I'm going to call that new folder chapter 03, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this index file by just dragging it up there, right mouse click and drag, and copy that in. All right. Now, I don't know if I don't think I'm going to need most of this other stuff, at least not now, but I might need the images in here. So I'm going to do the same thing and copy that in. So right now in my chapter 3 folder, I have images and I have index.html. So I'm going to open up that index.html right now. So let's see. I'm going to go back. Hold up. All right. I'm going to right mouse click on here and I'll choose open with code. All right. So I'm bringing it up right now. Excuse me. Inside of here. So this is all we have. All right. Now it's kind of tough, but I'm going to go back and forth. Again, this is what we have, which is almost empty right now. I get that. All right. But I'm going to add things to it. So hopefully when we get done, it's going to look the way that it's supposed to look. All right. So let's first take just a second here and look at the requirements and what they ask us to do here. All right. So that again, that is in shape up. So create the home page from the index.html in the root folder. Okay. Add the HTML5 semantics to structure the page. So we want to make sure there's a header section. That's not a head. It's a header section. A main content. Make sure that inside of there, it has a section, a sidebar, and a footer. So this is our whole thing. Okay. And in the header, we're going to put in this picture, these words shape up, and this find the best fit for you. All right, that's just the way we're going to set it up. So that right there that you see in blue, that'll end up being our header. Down at the bottom, this thing will end up being our footer. All right, and virtually everything else that you see in here, from get ready to shape up all the way down through, all right, a little further, I guess, but down, well, sorry, down through this additional resources, that'll be in main, and we'll break it up. Now, even though we're going to make sections and asides and stuff, we're not really using any CSS on here. And the reason I'm telling you that, the reason that that is important is it's going to look like this. Kind of blah, to be honest with you, but it's okay because we're going to be adding things to it in later lectures. All right, so that's the first two specifications. We're supposed to add an image and 2 levels of headings to the header. What does that mean? That means that we'll have an H1 if we wanted to, or I think we'll use an H2 and an H3. And the reason for that is I thought that pretty much looked the way that it did page. You'll find an image in the images folder, which is why I copied that over. You'll find the text for the header in the home.txt file. I'm just going to manually type it in. All right. Then add 3 levels of headings and the required text for the section content, etc. You've already got this stuff, but I'm going to add it manually so you can see exactly what we're doing. And I'll add something, we'll bring it up in live server to look at it, then we'll add some more, we'll bring it up in live server to look at it, etc. All right, I've actually got another machine here where I've got the picture of it, so I'll be able to go back and forth. All right, the quote in the second paragraph is a block quote. Okay, we'll look at that. Add a heading for the additional resources, add the required text to the footer, and add the link element. So we're going to do all this, but again, the idea is when we get done, we want our page to look as much like this here as possible. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into here and just start adding. All right. For now, I'm going to close this. So I've got a full thing here that I'm working with. You by now, hopefully, are comfortable with this is our doc type statement. That's our HTML tags with English as our language. You know what the head section is. All right. And you understand at least somewhat what the body section is. All right. So in this head right here, we'll put a title in. I think they have it just say shape up. And remember, that's what's going to go up here. Okay. And they want us to put in a favicon as well. So I'm going to put in here link rel equal. We did this yesterday. Shortcut icon. And then we have to say where it is. So href equals images slash, and in the images folder, there is a favicon.ico. So we've got that in there, and then we close our tag. The link tag does not have a closing tag. There's no slash link in there. That's our entire header section. Now I could run it, but to me, that's kind of a waste of our time. And I want to get through this. So you'll have plenty of time today to look at and work on this yourselves. You can put a blank line here. You can put blank lines all over the place if you want to. Okay. Okay. So in here, the first thing I'm going to put in is this header section. So remember, the head section is all the stuff that does not appear on the website itself. The header section, this stuff will appear on the web page. All right. So the first thing we're going to put in here is that image. So img, the source is going to be equal to, images slash, and it's the shapeup logo.ping, and we'll put some alternative text in there. So alt equals, and it seems to be immediate enough to say shape up logo, and just put in there what it is basically. All right, so there's that. And then we're going to put in where we ask for 2 levels of headings. So I'm going to put an H2 in there that says shape up, and that's going to be followed by an H3 that says find the best fit for you. Okay, so that's what I have so far. And I'm going to do a file save. I'm going to right mouse click on this, and I'm going to open this up with live server. So again, this is all stuff we've done. So there it is. Now, it's at almost 200%. So at 100%, it's going to look like this. But I'm going to keep mine bigger so you can see it on screen, hopefully, and follow along with me. All right. So that is, so far, we've added the link in here. We changed the title. We added the link for the favicon, and let's double check. There's the favicon. It's that little heart, evidently, right there. Okay. And we added this header section. So as we go through this, if something doesn't make sense, all right, etc., you're going to need to tell me. Okay. So feel free to stop me if you need to do that. So here we're going to put in a section, and there is a boatload of typing in here. You know, get ready to shape up. How many times have you started a workout, etc., etc., etc. So maybe I will go and grab that. So it's said here. Let's see if that was in here. Yep, it looks like it's right here. See, are you really ready to eat, etc. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put that in, and then we will actually go in and do the modifications that we have to do on here to make it look the way we want it to look. All right, so I'm going to come into here, and I'm just going to paste this in. Now I've got to make a bunch of changes in here, but that's fine. All right, so this get ready to shape up, I'm going to put that into an H1 tag. Now, you can just type in here H1, and notice if I hit the tab key, what it does. All right, that's another thing with Emmett. All right, and then we'll put in a paragraph here. Whoops. All right, and what I'm going to do, put the next thing down here and move this over. And a little trick, so to speak, is if I want this to look a little better, I can come up here to view and I can choose word wrap, and you can see what it did to the paragraph here. All right, to me, that looks a lot nicer. All right, and the next thing we're told to do in here is to put in another paragraph. So again, I should be able to type in P and hit tab like that. All right, so we get this, as fitness expert Amanda Russell said.
How do you do the word wrap again?
I will do it again for you.
I appreciate it.
No, no problem. You just go up to view and you choose word wrap.
Thank you very much.
Sure, you're welcome. All right, so we've got that, and we're told that this should be in a block quote, this thing that you see right here. The other thing too is I can take this now and I can tab if I want to move it all over at one time. Not a big thing, but just so you've seen it. So I can put the block quote here, or I can put it on its own line. So I'm going to type in here block quote, and there it is. I like to put my tags typically, if they are more than one line, I like to put the tag on a line by itself. All right, not everybody feels that way, and that this is wrong. Come on. That what we offer is not part of the quote. There. All right. Now I've added and changed quite a few added and changed quite a few things here, as you can see. All right. So I'm going to just do a save right now and just take a look at what I've got. Now I still have to do this stuff that's down here. So it's going to look a little jumbled, but I just want to see what it looks like. Is it starting to look the way that it's supposed to? All right. So you'll notice there's my image. There we've got our shape up, your best fit, get ready to shape up, how many times, and there's our block quote. So that's what we've got so far. Again, it isn't perfect. All right, but it doesn't look too bad, I guess. It's starting to come together a little bit. All right, then we've got that what we offer. All right, and that what we offer, I'm going to put that into an H2 tag. Oops. Okay, and since it's one line, I don't mind putting the tag and the text that goes with it together. And again, some people are real, I don't know what the word is, picky about this. So sometimes you'll see people who literally will have a blank line between each of these things that they're doing. You want to do that, go ahead. You don't want to do that, then do that. All right, either way. If you want to run everything together pretty much the way that I've done it, again, that's also okay. All right. So what do we have here? So what we offer, all right. And this build strong muscles. Well, a couple things about this. Let's take a look at the way this is supposed to look. Okay. So we're down to here, what we offer. So right now we have done all of this up till right here. All right, all that is done, and it pretty much, I think, looks the way that it's supposed to. Go back and double check it again later. But that brings us down to here. So you'll notice with this, what we offer, where it says build strong muscles, and it says get your heart rate up, and it says relax, and it says eat right for you. All of that stuff that you see, those all look like they're hyperlinks. So we're going to set them up as hyperlinks. That said, they're going to link to other pages that we will eventually bring into this site, but we haven't brought them in yet. So even though there will be hyperlinks, if you click on them, it's going to give you an error message because it's going to tell you that it can't find those. That's okay. All right. I just wanted people to be aware of that. Okay, so let's come in here. So what we offer. All right. Well, the first one is that build strong muscles. Okay. And we can do this in a lot of different ways. We could make it a paragraph. I just made it an H3. Okay. And inside of that H3, okay, it'll say build strong muscles, but it's going to be A. Remember, this is how we build. This is how we go in and we set up a, this is how we go in and we set up a hyperlink. So it'll be under strength slash index.html. Okay. And I'm going to end that. And now with that A, I want that to be the build strong muscles. And then I want to end the tag. So it looks like this. All right. Now I'm going to save this and I'll come right back to it. But I want to go and look at this so you can see. Well, doesn't look like it worked because it doesn't look like it's a hyperlink. All right, the what we offer looks okay, but the build strong muscles, something looks wrong. So let's check it. Href, that's because this build strong muscles has to go before the ending A tag. So now let's look at it. And now you can see there it is. Now again, if I click on it, I get an error because it's trying to find that page and it cannot. All right, that's totally okay. All right. So let's go back and look at it. So that's this right here. All right. Then we've got this um, tired of being tired and all that other stuff, this in here. So I'm going to put this into a paragraph. All right. So tired of being tired. Strength training can help you manage, etc. And we want to go down and what's next here? The next thing that's in here is after the tired of being tired is going to be get your heart rate up. So where is that? That's here. So when I copy this over, it looks a little funky. All right. So we've got this. You don't have to pretty this up like this if you don't want to. I don't care. The bottom line is this. How does it look when I run it as a web page? All right. I'm doing this for your benefit more than mine. All right. I want you to see what's going together here. So if I do a file save and I come back into here, now you can see what we have. All right, there it is. And this get your heart rate up in just a minute, that's going to look like one of these. Okay. So we've got that. And this get your heart rate up. I'm going to literally, maybe this isn't the best way to do this, but I'm going to do it like that anyway. I'm going to copy this and paste it in here. And then I'm going to put this, get your heart rate up. I think that was the next one I'm looking on here. Yes. So I'm going to put that in here. So it says, get your heart rate up. All right. So this, the first one was strength index. The next one is going to be cardio index. So get your heart rate up. Okay, we've got that. Now this want to lose weight, etc. Where are we here? All right. That goes all the way down to where we see the word relax, which is in here someplace. There we go. So this is going to be a paragraph as well. If I'm making it harder for you to understand because of the way I copy this in, then I apologize. I'm trying, again, the reason I'm trying to take all this and pretty it up is so you can see exactly what goes with what. So we've come in here and we've added within the what we offer an H3 that says build strong muscles, and then we have a paragraph that basically goes along with that. All right. And then what we just added is another one, another H3 here that says get your heart rate up, and another paragraph after that. Okay, so if I go ahead and do a file save and I take a look at it now, I've got those two done. Okay, all right. So jumping back then, the next thing is we're again going to have something that looks like this. So I'm copying that. And this one for the where it says relax, that's going to be stress index.html. Not stress.
How are
And this
you,
will,
sir? How are you
yes.
figuring out what goes before the index?
How am I
Where are
figuring
we
out
seeing that?
this here or what?
No, like so the link stress slash index, is that
This,
shown in our folder or something? Where like
um, I am not positive. Let's take a look. You literally could put anything in there. All right, you can put just index.html. You can put whatever you want in there. If you put index.html, all right, I'll go back and look. I'm not positive. All right. Okay. I'm working here off of a copy that I made. So I did this summer. So I probably ended up doing it. I might have ended up doing it right from the key. I don't know. But we're going to eventually build, we will have a cardio link, we will have a stress link, etc. Now, when we look at this, remember, this is the way it's supposed to look. I mean, your question is very valid. It's a good question. All right. And I'm not sure. Okay.
okay.
So don't worry about it, even if you have it linked to nothing. That's totally okay right now. If you want to just link it to double quote, it's not going to matter because eventually you're going to fill that in. All right.
So when we make the future pages, they'll just have to match this link that we're putting
Eventually,
in
what
right
we're
now.
going to do eventually is you're going to add more pages.
Right, okay.
Okay. So for right now, if you, I mean, like I said, the question was valid. If you just want to put in here, just double quote, that's totally fine. It's not going anywhere right now anyway, because those pages don't exist. So whatever works easiest for you. All right, and the next one is relax, and the last one will be eat what's right for you. That's down here. And this, hopefully you've all figured that out. Oops. With that one, the only way I'm figuring it out is I'm just looking at the picture. All right. Like I said, your question was very valid as far as, well, how are we supposed to figure that out? All right. I don't have a good answer for you, but oops. So, and then on Eat What's Right for You. This is, I believe, at least the last one. And that one is going to be diet. Yeah, so again, this will be all stuff later that we will, whoops, that we will be creating. All right, this will go all the way down and grab everything else that we have in here. Okay. And you might notice that right now I'm lining everything up, and I've got basically, there's a thing that you can put in there. We haven't talked about it yet, but we will, to automatically format as you save. So sometimes when you come in here and when I go in and do a file save, see, it throws the stuff around. I don't know why it does it that way, but it does. That's a dumb thing to say, but I just don't know why it does it like that. Now, if I do a file save all, or a file save, and go back again, this is now what my page looks like. Okay? So really, as far as what our page is supposed to look like in here, we now have done all of this. In fact, further down even, we did all the way through here. So the only thing that's left is the additional resources and the footer. All right. So it's not much to do is what I'm telling you. All right. And we set all of this up as a section. We're told to use a section and an aside. We could have made this an aside and this a section, but this is our main part. So that's typically why you'd make that a section. All right. So let's do the last part of it here. I don't know if I have this or not. So I'm going to copy all of this just in case. Back to here. Now I've got to do some work on that. Okay. And this is going to be my aside. And again, I'm trying to tell you here, I can actually put that all on the same line, that the aside is things that are known as being tangential. So in other words, they're not as important. So the main section, the main stuff is in section, and the other stuff is in aside. And we're going to put that in as an unordered. Okay, so each one of these will go in there, and each one will be will go in there, and each one will be a list item. So each one of these will be an LI. Okay. All right. Now, with all of these, they all have an href. Okay. So if I do it now, it's not done. In fact, let's very quickly just finish this up. So I'm going to put my bottom aside tag in here. I did that, but it did. Oh, I want my bottom aside tag moved here. So that'll go right there. And I can take all this if I want to and tab it over so it looks a little bit nicer. And then at the very bottom, we have our footer. Okay. So that footer is just right here. Now, they have just a C there, and I don't know why they did that, but you all know now what the copyright is. So I'm going to put an ampersand copy there. I think that'll look nicer. Now they've got 2019. Let's just make it 2023. You don't have to do that. I could care less. And let's put this in as a paragraph. It'll look a little bit formatted that way. You don't have to do that, but let's just do it anyway. A lot of times that's what people will do for their footer. So if I save this and I go back and take a look at it, and I'm going to make it real small because I want to be able to see everything. That's what we have right now. All right. So let's look at what we're supposed to have. The only thing we don't have in here right now is these are all supposed to be hyperlinks, and they're not. All right. And I believe, I don't know exactly where those files are, but one of the files that is in here with the stuff that we were given, I would think at least, is going to have those hyperlinks in there. So let's look. Again, this was labs, I think. Yep. All right. So text, images, media, strength, cardio. So you'll notice this right now, this will be our cardio page eventually. Okay. So what we can do, what if you want to, this goes back to the question that was asked before, part of it. I can grab every bit of this. So I can grab this and this. I've already got the images. So this, all of this, every bit. And I can copy it into chapter 3. All right, now they're all in there. Why did I do that? Well, notice now I'm going to a page. All right, it says under construction, but I can still go to a page. So all of those they're all being linked to right now, is what I'm telling you, by putting it in there like that. Again, did we have to do that? No. All right. In fact, I went back and looked to see in the key if they did that, and they didn't. What I'm looking for is, were you able to set this up? Were you able to put in, and I don't care where I've got an H1, you might have had an H something else, etc. Does yours basically look like this? All right. This is a running case study. What you're going to find is prospective employers, all right, a lot of times want to be able to see your work and how you progressed through the year. I'm not saying this is or is not something you'd want to put into a portfolio eventually, but it might be. Okay. All right. Now, I did want to go back and look on here. Add the link element, add the required text, add a heading for the resources, code the additional resources as an unordered list with links to the external pages that you locate. Well, that's real nice. All right. And I'll tell you, I mean, we can go back and we can go look up physical activity and health and stretching, etc. What I will do, and I'll have to remember to do this, so please, if I forget, if I'm going to go back and look through this and see if they have these links. If they don't, I'm going to go to the key, grab the links, and send them to you. This is not supposed to be a class where you have to Google and find, wow, what's the best one for cardiovascular training? I'll send that out to you today. So you'll be able to come in here and basically do the, you'll be able to say like href equals, now you will put an address in here. For now, I'll just put in Rankins, which is silly, but just so you get the idea. All right. And then you will put the physical activity and health inside of here. Okay. So you will be doing that. And now notice that when I do a file save and I come down here, that for this one at least, did I not save? href a, that is correct. File save. Well, I'm not sure why it's not showing, but again, I am going to end up fixing this, make sure that it works, And I'm going to also make sure at the end, all right, that when we get all done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this out to my GitHub repo. So you will have a working copy of it. What does that mean? That means technically you could just take it and copy everything. Now, you could do that, but then what's going to happen is when you do the next assignment, you might be very confused. So I recommend that you go through the steps. Hopefully those of you who are watching have been coding along with me. All right. So let's see. I'm looking still in here. Boom. That looks like it should work and it's not. I'm not sure why. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it right now. It will work. Just take my word for it that by the time you get this, I take this and put it out this afternoon out onto GitHub, it'll be working. All right. Now it is 9 o'clock. I want to give you a 10-minute break. Does anybody have any questions on this exercise before we take a break and then go on to the other one? Anyone?
I have a question
Sure.
on the header. I should have spoke up when we are working
That's
on it,
no,
but
not a problem. Okay.
my H2 for shape up is showing red. I mean, obviously our colors are different, but it's causing the shape up on my live page to be up by the logo. I guess it's not actually saying it's a correct code or something.
Okay, if it's red, then normally what that means is, like, for example, up here, you didn't close a double quote. That usually is what that means, or you didn't put in an ending tag.
Well, so it's the next line that I'm having issue with. The
Well,
shape up
what,
itself.
right here.
Yep.
Okay, but what I'm saying is what could have screwed it up, if you have an error on line 11, the problem could be anywhere in lines 1 through 11.
Oh, I see. I see.
That's what I'm telling you. So again, if I leave this off here, I could get some kind of a weird error is what I'm telling you. Typically, I mean, if I got an error up here on line 11, it's not going to be because of something I've got down here. Right? That
Okay,
again,
so it like everything above can cause errors down
anything above
below.
can. So anything that's in here, it's conceivable you didn't end your meta tag or whatever. You did something you weren't supposed to do. I don't know what that would be. All right, now I'm looking on mine here too. That's interesting. I've never seen this happen before, but looking on here, somehow I lost body. Okay, there was nothing in there, and I don't know why. I mean, I love this editor, yet there are times that this editor frustrates the heck out of me because it'll occasionally do things I don't want it to do. All right, hopefully I at least somewhat answered your question, but I'd say go back and take a look at everything that you did from this line and up
Yep, I
and see
found
if,
it.
okay,
Yeah, I didn't close something.
okay. Anybody else with any other questions? All
I'm
right,
good
it's
for now,
9:03.
thanks.
Go ahead.
I said, sorry, I was just saying I'm good for now.
Okay. All right, it's 9:03. Let's take till 9:15. We'll come back at 9:15 and we're going to write the Halloween one. Okay? All right, it is 9:15 and I'm back. I just wanted to show you, I did go out and I found those URLs, so I put those in here, but this is what they show in the book as far as what this is supposed to look like. Make it a little smaller, I guess. Well, that's too small, but you get the idea. I took a picture, a screenshot out of the book. And as of right now, this is what ours looks like. Again, I'll cut it down at 100%. It's right here. So it pretty much looks the same way. All right. Now, this is what I'd recommend you do. Whether you do it the way I'm showing you or not is up to you, but this is what I'm recommending. All right. Now, what you maybe noticed and maybe didn't notice, but in here, what I did was in the labs here, I copied everything into a chapter 3 folder, but I still have my originals here, just in case something goes wrong. Now I'm going to make another folder, and I'm going to call it chapter 4. All right. Then I'm going to open up the chapter 3 folder, and I'm going to grab everything that's in here, copy it to the clipboard, and paste it into the chapter 4 folder. What that means is now I've got a starting point for my chapter 4. So right now, my chapter 3 folder, my chapter 4 folder are identical. So if I bring this one up, it looks the same as the other one does. But now when I go on to chapter 4, I've got a starting point. And then when I get done with that, when I get done with the chapter 4, then I'll make a chapter 5 folder and copy all the chapter 4 stuff into there. I like to keep the originals out just in case something goes wrong. All right, then I've got all those files if I do need them. All right, like I said, I'm telling you how I do it. I'm not saying you have to do it that way or you want to do it that way. All right, so let's take a look at the other one, because I've already kind of done the same thing. And what I mean is, for the homework, and we're going to look at that in just a second, I made a chapter 3 folder and I grabbed everything that was in here and I copied it into the chapter 3 folder. So right now it's an empty page, and we're going to end up filling it up with information very shortly. Okay. Oops. Oh, that wasn't good. Okay. All right. I just accidentally removed my key. Okay, the one that I made. So I think I'm going to have to grab the authors. I don't want to do that because I did my own, but I accidentally just removed it and I only had a copy of it. So give me a second here. That's fine. We'll just do it. I'll see. Maybe I've got it saved again. I don't know. I'm going to look right here. Like I said, I'm working with 2 machines here, so let's see. Oh, I think I found it. Good deal. Good, because I don't want to use theirs. I want to use mine. All right. So let's take a look at the other one that we're supposed to be working on here. All right. So let me close a few of these. I've got a lot of stuff open. Some of it's open twice. So this is the Halloween case study. It's for a mythical Halloween store. And this is what we're supposed to have it look like at the end of the first one. So as you can see, we're going to again add an image in there. That's the pumpkin. We'll have probably an H2 and an H3 tag again, the Halloween store, and then for the little goblin and all of us. And then we'll have an H1 tag, that welcome to my site, etc. Then a couple paragraphs, then some product categories, and a my guarantee with a paragraph underneath it, and finally our footer. All right, so actually there's a little less in this one than there was in the last one. So when we look at the specifications, they're all right here. So create the home page, that's what we're doing. Add the semantics, so we've got a header, a main content, and a footer. So we're not asked here to do a section or an aside. Add the image and the 2 levels of heading, that pumpkin.gif, so we'll look at that. Add the 3 levels of headings for what's inside of here. Code the product categories as an unordered list, etc. So we'll try to do everything that's in here. There's not a lot of requirements. I actually did the harder one first, and that's good. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to in Visual Studio Code. Again, you will have this one. I will put it in the repo. I'll do that before we finish today. So I'm just going to do a save here, and then I'm going to do a file exit because I don't want this one up anymore. And then I'm going to go over to the other one, the Halloween exercises, and I'm going to say that I want to open that one with code. So now I've got this. And again, it's an empty file. Okay, other than what you see here. It's starting with the same shell that we had in the last one. All right, so let's come in and give it a title. It's going to be a Halloween store. And again, if I'm going too fast or if something doesn't make sense, you know, a couple of you have stopped me. I actually appreciate that. To me, the class works better when there is an interplay between us. I don't want to just sit there and listen to my own voice. I hear it all the time anyway. All right. So any questions you have, please feel free to stop me at any time. So starting here, we're going to put in the header. I'm in the body section now. So we'll add that image. The source is going to be equal to images slash, and it's that pumpkin.gif. And for an alt, we'll say, I don't know, we can say whatever we want. How about pumpkin logo? We could have said Halloween store logo. It doesn't really matter. All right. And we'll do that. And then underneath that, we will put in an H2 and it'll say the Halloween store. This is taken right from the picture that we have in here. And then an H3, and it'll say for the little goblin in all of us. Now, I'm going to come right back to it, but let's save this and let's take a look and see what we have so far. Okay, so there's it. There it is. Again, I'll make it a little bigger so it's easy to see. All right. And as far as I can tell, the picture, the Halloween store for the goblin and all of us, it looks pretty much so far we're down to here. That's what we were supposed to have. Right. So again, as we're doing this, if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. So I added this. I gave it a title because the title was blank, and we added the header section, and I'll leave that right there. All right. Then we're told to have a main. And we're not told to put any sections, no aside, no anything. So everything will be right inside of main. Okay. So we have an H1, that's the biggest heading level, remember, and it says, welcome to my site. Please come in and stay a while. And like we did before, I'm going to go and click on view and I'm going to turn word wrap on. I don't need it yet, but I will eventually need it. All right. Now, there's a couple paragraphs in here. It says, I started this website for boom, 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 whatever that is. But I think that is going to be in here someplace. So let's see, under text, index text. Okay, so welcome to my site. Please come in and stay a while. There it is. I started this, and if you click, in fact, I can grab all of this stuff. I'm just going to grab everything. This was under text, index.txt. So I'm going to grab all of this. I'm going to go back to my index file and I'm going to paste it in, but I'm going to paste it in at the bottom. And remember, when I do this, you saw how to do this yesterday. A less than sign, exclamation point, dash, dash. And now I can just put all that in there. And I'm going to move it around as I get going, but this is going to be a paragraph. So I'm going to put in my paragraph tags. Again, I'm in main. So I'm going to put in a paragraph tag. All right, now I'm going to paste that in. So there's the first paragraph. Then I'm going to add another paragraph. All right, I'm going to grab the second one. So this was, I started this website, etc. So I don't need that one anymore. I've already pasted it in. Now I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going to paste that in. All right, I'm going to save. All right, and I'm going to again take a look at it here. So this is what I now have. And if I again come back and compare this with what's in here, you can see I now have already, I'm up to here. So all of that is done. So I need the product categories, and then I need that unordered list. All right. And then that'll give us this. and then we'll get down and do the my guarantee with a paragraph, and then the footer. So this really, hopefully at least, won't take very long. Okay, we'll see. All right. So again, unless anybody has any questions on here, and I've been doing copy and paste more than anything else. All right. So now I want to come down here and put in the product categories. It looked like it was about an H2. Sometimes you just have to eyeball these. I mentioned this the other day. You are only supposed to really put one H1 element on each page. And that H1 element is kind of the main focus of the page. It's normally at the top or very near the top. All right. So this said product categories. In fact, I think I had it down here. Yes, I did. All right. And we are supposed to put in an unordered list. Remember, an unordered list is filled up with what are called list items. All right. So I'm going to do that like this. And I'm going to be, there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. So I'm going to just quickly throw in, copy this down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I can just paste those in. So there's props. Now, when we do this, we're supposed to do a href. And all of these, they're all going to be the same as far as they're all under products / and the first one will be props.html, and we'll put in there props. And then we can end our li. You can put all this on one line if you want to. Totally fine to do that, to just come in there and do it like this. In fact, you more often than not, you'll see it like this. I put it over multiple lines because it's much easier for me as I'm filling the information in. So I'm going to grab this, paste that in here, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to paste it in here. All right. And this will be costumes. This will be special. And this will be masks. And you might say, how did I know those? They're from right here. Costumes, special effects, and masks. All right. So I'm going to bring that one in. And then end my A tag. Whoops. And again, I can put this on one line. You do it whatever way makes the most sense to you. If you'd rather put these on multiple lines like I'm doing, do that. If you'd rather not do that, do that. What you are doing in the first year, especially of the programs, you are establishing your own style. And the good news or bad news, depending on your point of view, is once you go out into the quote real world, unquote, and you get a job, quite often you won't be asked. There will be a way that people do things, and you will just be expected to do it that way. So while you're here at Rankin, why shouldn't you be able to develop your own style, your own flair? That is, believe it or not, that is what is going to help you get a job. It really and truly is. All right, so we've got that in here now. I'm again going to save, and I'm again going to jump back into here, and there's my product categories. So when you look at this right here, that's what we have. And when you look at, as opposed to what we're supposed to have, we now have all of this done. So the only thing left is we're going to put in an H3 header that says my guarantee. I'll just type in this. This isn't very big. You'll notice the no questions asked looks like it's bolded. So we'll put strong tags around there, and then we'll do the footer, and then we're finished. All right. So let's go back into here. Again, after the unordered list, we will put in an H3 tag, and that H3 tag will say my guarantee, and then we will have a paragraph. that says, if you aren't completely satisfied with everything you buy from my site, remember I've got word wrap turned on, you can return for a full refund. Well, if it's return it or just return. Let's see, look on here. You can return it for a full refund. And then we want the no questions asked. I can hit enter here, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to put it around strong tags, and it will say no questions asked. All right, now when I save, this might go in and might move the strong tag up here. I don't really care. So file save, and it kind of did a little bit of funky stuff here, but let's look at it. There's my guarantee, and you see the no questions asked is in bold. Okay, so if I pump this up a little bit, that's what it looks like. So the only thing that's left to do here is to add that footer. All right. Now the footer is not part of main, just like the header wasn't part of main. So there was the header. Here was main. Okay. And now will be the footer. All right. And all we're putting in here is a paragraph, and we'll put ampersand copy like we did before, 2023. They want you to say Ben Murock. You can do that. You can put in your own name. I don't really care how you do it. All right, I put in my name there, so I'm going to do a file, save all, and look at it one last time, and there that is. Now, it's important that you do realize there is no CSS in here. All right, we have not put any CSS in, so it doesn't look that great. As we go and work our way through here, if I go in and look here, well, in the next chapter, we're going to do some formatting. So notice how it'll look. We're going to make this orange, and it looks like it even has a little shadow in it. We're going to make these so they're orange, and we're going to center this. So you can see how it's coming, and the W here is bigger. All right, I actually showed you how to do that with a span tag the other day. Then when we get into chapter 5, now notice we're going to put a background here with bats on it. And we're going to put in what's called a gradient. That's when these colors change here and here. So you can see the idea is that by the time we get down towards the end here, and we're on chapter 16, it's going to look like this. Now you might think that doesn't look that different. It does. And I believe that in here, these are going to be buttons. And like when you click on here, it's going to show you the different things that are available here. And, so you can see we're going to have a nice looking menu. Remember the stuff that we already put in today. We put in props, we put in costumes, we put in special effects, and we put in masks. Well, that should look pretty familiar. All right. So that's what we're going to be moving towards in here. That's what we're going to be working with in here. All right. Now, before I go and save this and upload it to GitHub, does anyone have any questions, or do you need me to show you anything that's not being shown right now? Anybody?
Do your links work on your live page or?
Okay, do the links work on the live page? Probably, either they probably don't work, or at best they'll say page under construction. I'm going to guess they're not even going to work. Nope,
Okay, cool. That's what
because they don't
I
have the
just wanted to
products
make
yet,
sure.
don't have the costumes yet, don't have the special effects, don't have the masks. These are all things that we're going to be adding. And I'm not even probably going to click your links. All I want to do is I want to see, look at your formatting, and I take a quick look at the requirements, and then just say, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? All right. Any other questions? All right, then what I'm going to do is this. And this is the kind of thing that you're going to want to do. So let me do a file here, save, and then I'm going to close this. Right? And now in my, I'm going to go back up. Come on. Come on. One more. There we go. So in my master right here, okay, so in my master where it says your name, etc., I'm going to right mouse click here. All right. And I'm going to choose Git bash here. All right. Now, I think I've got one already that doesn't have the word master on it, I believe. So what I'm going to do is let me close this. I'm going to get the master out of there. So it's just going to say your name, AWD1000 Spring 2023. So now I've got that. I've changed the name of my folder. I'm going to come in here. You'll notice that under HTML, homework, exercises, it has been touched today. There's the chapter 3. All right. And I want to double check. So if anybody comes in here and grabs this, there's the chapter 3 stuff. So we know that that's in there. All right. Let's quickly look at the shape up. There's the chapter 3. All right. And here is the index. That's done. One thing I did not do, I did it with this one, but I didn't do it with the other one. So let's go back again to the Halloween or the homework. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a chapter 4 folder. So new folder, chapter 04. All right. And I'm going to open up my chapter 3 folder, grab everything that's in there, copy it to the clipboard, and put it into my chapter 4 folder. Now I've got a starting point, but right now my chapter 4 looks exactly like my chapter 3 did, and that's fine. All right, so I've got all of that stuff, looks to me at least, it looks like it's all done. All right, and I guess I close that, but that's fine. So here it is. This is the your name. So I'm going to come in here and follow the steps I gave you the other day. So I'm going to right mouse click on here, go to my Git bash here. I currently do not have a Git folder in here. I do not have one. So I'm going to make one. In fact, if I type in Git status right now to show my status, it'll give me an error message. It says you don't have any Git repositories or repos in there. So I'm going to type in Git init and hit enter. And now I've got that Git folder. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add everything. So Git add dot. Now it's adding everything because I didn't have it previously. Okay, but after you do yours, if you've already made a Git folder, all right, then the only thing that'll be added will be the chapter 3 and the chapter 4 for your Halloween project and your shape up and your written test 1. All right, so all that stuff has now been added out there. And again, I want to make sure I've got this name, your name. So I think I've got one that's called that out on GitHub. I want to check. So I'm going to go out to GitHub. And there is, boy, I sure thought I did. Well, let's do it like this then. Let's double check. So it has got this name on it. I can tell real quick because I'm going to try to make a new repository with that name. And if it gives me an error, then it does exist in there already. So I will come in and do a new repository. Select owner, which is me, come in here and do this. Nope, it says it already exists. So I've got to find that. All right, so there it is right there. It's in there, and you can see last week was when everything in there, all right, was set up. so to speak. All right, I'm gonna have to do this a little differently because I didn't set up the Git repo earlier. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna copy this to the clipboard. And I'm gonna put in a command that you'll have to put this into. If you have problems with it, it's your responsibility then to let me know and I'll work with you on it. I think this is the right command. We'll find out real quick. So git remote -v, and I'm going to have to paste this in then. And I think it needs a .git on the end, but I'm not positive. Okay, it didn't like that. So let's try it without the .git on the end. Still didn't like that. So I'll tell you, I can find out what it is real fast. And I want to give you the right command. So let me come in here and let me create a new repository. Get rid of me. Okay. Yours will be private again, where mine is public. And I want to mention one more thing about that too before we finish today. So this is what I need. Git remote add origin. So I'll grab the whole line here. So you will have to type in, after you create your Git repository, you will have to type in paste. Git remote add origin with the entire name of your repo. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this because that's not it. And I'm going to find the one that's in here. So again, that's it there. Okay. After you've done this once or twice, and I'm not just saying it, you're not going to have problems with it. It's going to work for you. All right. So now I can check to make sure I can say git remote -v, and that's where it's going to push it in just a minute. All right. So I've gone through there, and just so you know the commands that I did, I first did a git init, which made my GitHub repository. Then I did a git add dot, which added everything to that repository. Then I did that git remote that I just showed you. All right. And now I want to commit this. So I want to say git commit -m, and I'm going to put in here, let's see, written test chapter 1, homework and labs chapters 1 to 3 complete. You can put any message in there you want, but you should put something in there. Hit enter. Okay, it's showing me that it's done all that stuff. I'm going to clear the screen again, and I'm going to say git push -u origin master. Again, yours will probably be main. Hit enter. It'll sit. Oh, doesn't like something. Again, failed to. So I did my commit. It says updates were rejected. The remote contains work that you do not have locally. This is caused by another repo pushing to the same thing. All right. Well, let's go back and take a quick look. We'll fix it. Git I want to just see right now. I want to type in git status again. It says there's nothing to commit, so I'm going to try this again. So git add dot. All right. Git commit. I'm just going to put chapters 1, 2, 3 work. So I did my git add, I did my commit. Not match any files known to git. It doesn't want to let me do that because I've already committed and there's nothing to commit. But I'm still not sure. Git push -u origin master. Well, I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to go through here. All right, I'm giving you the right steps. I took them right from here, this thing that I gave you the other day, and I added it again on the email for today. So let's look at that and see if I missed anything. Don't believe I did. So I came in here, whoops, went out to GitHub, we made a repo, we already had the repo, copied that remote origin line, right mouse click, did a git bash here, did a git init, did a git add dot, did a git commit -m with our message, and did a git push. Now, my guess is if I go and look at this and I refresh, it still says last week. So the changes did not take place. But when you look at what I just showed you, I gave you all the steps. I didn't miss anything. So for some reason, it doesn't like what I did. So I am basically finished with this. I will make sure that this works and that the GitHub repository is updated. All right, I will do all that stuff. Now, what's going to happen this semester is occasionally I'm going to be like, oh, geesh, I wish I would have remembered to tell you guys this and I forgot. And then I'll tell it to you as soon as I possibly can. I'll blast out to all. Please look, fairly often. The other thing that I mentioned the other day, and some of you have already done this, if you are getting emails from me, if you can see the YouTube presentations when they're done, please send me an email and let me know that. Again, a couple of you listening right now have already done that. Okay, and I'm just asking that you do it because if I don't hear from people, I mean, just tell you real quick, I actually have, and I don't know if one of you is here today, I don't think so. No. I actually have a student in the class that Evan has in one of his classes that has the same first name and the same last name. Why am I telling you this? Because I was actually sending emails for this class to him because I had the wrong middle name. They have different middle names, but they have the same first name and the same last name. So that's why I'm asking that you send me an email to let me know. And I'm hoping that I get all 10 of you who are in the class to send me an email by the end of the day today or by my Monday. So if I'm having problems with anybody, that you will be, I will be able to contact the help desk and get that fixed. All right. That pretty much is what I had for today. Does anybody have any questions on anything? Again, I'll get this to work. All right,
So
then. Go ahead.
I add one question. So for the labs, we didn't, at least on my side, I didn't do the hyperlinks for the bottom. I think you did that while we were at break. Do you want us to go back and add those hyperlinks in?
It doesn't matter. What you'll want to do, you don't have to do it now, but the advantage of doing it now is that they'll now be in there for every future assignment that you do. You know what I'm saying? So if you take it and copy it to chapter 4, you'll have the hyperlinks in there. Otherwise, you'll be expected to add them later.
Okay. But I
Okay?
can go ahead and push everything we did today
Yes,
to
that's
get.
totally fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any question? All right, then have a good weekend. I was going to tell you what I think I'm going to do. We were supposed to have a test on Tuesday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make what I call a pre-test. In other words, I'm going to make a test for you that's not going to count. and I'll give you about an hour to work on it, and then I will do the pre-test right in front of you. Because I want, in an ideal world, I want there to be 10 people who get 100 on the first test. All right, so we will take a pre-test on Tuesday. There are no classes Monday because of Martin Luther King observance. So Tuesday we'll do a pre-test, and Wednesday we'll do the test. Okay. All right. I'll make sure I put that out in the email that I send out a little later. Okay. Have a good weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.